Hey guys, hey Pringles, FLW Pro, Greg Bohannon here. Hey, I want to give you a recap of Sandusky, Ohio, Lake Erie, our last FLW event of the season as far as the regular season event. It was a super tournament. Going into that event, I was in 30th place. They take the top 50 to our championship at Sturgeon Bay next week. And so I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of an insight of kind of my thoughts going into the event and kind of how I approached it. Going into that event, there's so many choices. We know that Lake St. Clair is phenomenal right now. It's fishing really well. But it's a 90-mile boat ride through some rough water. So I kind of immediately eliminated that. I knew I needed probably a top 135, 140 to make the championship. We have 50 MLF guys in that event with us, and so they don't count in the points. And so I just needed a limit both days. And so I chose not to make something really risky or do a really risky run all the way up to St. Clair. If you make that run, you've got to run through Lake Erie, then you got to run through the Detroit River, through the Miracle Mile, what we call the Miracle Mile. It's like those high walls, and if you get a big boat through there, it's just like a bathtub knocking you around, and I've been through it before. It is really rough. Then you got to get all the way into St. Clair, and then you got to catch them within about 2.5, maybe 3 hours, and then turn around and make that trip back. So I eliminated that. I spent my time on Lake Erie the first 2 days of practice, trying to catch the big smallmouth. Lake Erie has some great smallmouth. I mean, they're big. If you catch one, it's either a 3.5 or bigger, it seemed like. But I didn't get many bites at all in practice. And so the third day of practice, I thought I'm going to spend my tournament here on largemouth. I felt like I could have a top 100 finish. We get paid $10,000 through the top 100. And so I thought, well, I'll spend my time on largemouth, and that's how I'm gonna spend my tournament. And I got some bites in practice. Had a couple good bites in practice on some largemouth. But I learned something there. I was catching my fish in practice. On a Strike King KVD Toad Buzz. 3/8 ounce, and I was running down kind of some rocky banks. There were some riprap areas. There was some rocky banks back in a bay, and so I got in there the first day. I really felt good about going in there and catching a good limit each day. But I got in there, and the wind had changed directions, and it really taken that water out of that bay. I got in there. I immediately noticed that the water had dropped about a foot in there, and Gary Klein was in there with me. And we both struggled that day. Gary only caught 2 that first day. And, the first day at 11 o'clock, I don't have a bass. And so it was, I could feel that piano sitting on my shoulders trying to figure out how I'm going to not blow this thing. Because I don't need very many. I just need a solid finish, to make that championship. So I picked up a Strike King Fat Finesse Worm. That's kind of one of my fallback baits. If I'm really struggling, man, I'm going to pick up a Strike King Shaky Head. This is the actual one I was throwing, got the paint beat off of it. But I went to some little channel markers and some current break areas, and I picked that up. I thought, I'm just going to try to catch 5 keepers, and I did. Fortunately, I was able to catch 5 keepers. They weighed 10-something. I was in 100-something place, 127th place first day. But, I survived the first day, and so I felt pretty good about it. I just need to have another solid day on day 2. Went out on day 2, and the wind had shifted direction, so I opted to go back to that area. I thought, well, if the water comes back up, they'll get back on that buzzbait, and they did a little bit. Started off in the morning, caught a really nice one, about 3.5 right off the bat, and then caught another nice keeper, and then it just kind of died. I had 2 or 3 more big blow-ups that just didn't get the bait in their mouth. It was really disheartening. Could have made it easy, but it wasn't. So about 1 o'clock, I have 2 fish in my live well, and I feel the championship slipping away. And so I made a decision at that point. I knew Bill McDonald, my roommate, had a really good tournament there, and he had told me that, hey, I'm catching them in this bay, and I may not be there in the afternoon. So I went, pretty close to where Bill was fishing. I didn't know exactly where he was, but I just started fishing. Picked up a Strike King Rage Crawl, just like in the last tournament. Picked up the Rage Crawl, 1/2 ounce sinker, and just started pitching around some grass, dragging through the grass, and I caught 4 keepers that afternoon. So that salvaged the day. I did not get a check in the tournament, but I did finish well enough up in the points to make the championship at Sturgeon Bay. So we're super excited. We just take the Pringles boat to Sturgeon Bay next week. It's going to be a unique event, MLF style format, and so it'll be really cool. I really hope everybody tunes in and watches it. There's going to be a lot of fish caught, and it's such a fun event. Only 50 guys there, 25 of us fish each to the first 4 days. They take the top 10 to the finals, and so I'm really excited to represent Pringles and all my sponsors there at Sturgeon Bay. That's our number one goal. When I start the season, my number one goal is to make that championship. And this will be our 7th championship, FLW championship. So feel good about that, and maybe it's lucky number 7. Who knows? But as far as setups, I got my Lew's Custom Pro rods. I had to pick up the spinning reel, the Custom Pro spinning reel. Even got some grass left from Lake Erie there. That was my savior the first day. Strike King Fat Finesse Worm. It's a green pump, with gold in it. I got 15-pound Strike King braid to, I think I've got a 10-pound Strike King fluorocarbon leader on there. The Buzz Toad, the Toad Buzz, 50-pound Strike King braid. Magnum Bass One Rod. I love the Magnum Bass One Rod. You guys have heard me talk about that before. Great all-around rod for spinnerbait, buzzbait, anything like that. But and then of course the last setup is it's a Magnum pitch and stick, 20-pound Strike King fluorocarbon, Rage Crawl, a half-ounce tungsten tour grade Strike King weight. So those are the 3 things that I caught them on. That Rage Crawl and Rage Bug, man, you just can't hardly beat those as soft plastic. So really high on the new Strike King line. It's my first year throwing it, and it's been really good. So it's awesome. I had, of course, I got some original Pringles here with me. Can't ever go wrong with the original. So that was kind of my setup for Sandusky, Ohio. So it was kind of a survival tournament. We just barely survived. We just about messed it up. So but we didn't. We made it. We're going to make the championship, and really looking forward to it. So that's kind of my tournament recap. I appreciate you guys watching, and be sure and tune in starting the end of next week from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. Man, it's going to be fun. God bless you guys. Take care.